Hi students, this is the second part of your geography chapter 1. In the first part we discuss about topographical map, in which year it is introduced and which are the man-made and natural features found on the topographical map. Then we also discuss about 3 different series of topographical map. Now in this session we discuss different colors which are used in the topographical map and contour lines. Children, we began this chapter with discussing that the year in which the survey map came into existence, that is during the British period. Then we also discuss about both natural and man-made features. Then in these question answer we discuss the different series of survey map, 3 important series of survey map. I hope that you understood that. Even then once again we can discuss this 3 series of survey map with the help of some other map. You see here, here you see India and landmass is only given. Okay, here the numbering comes 39 to 84. But once you focus on the map which is given in your textbook, yes, this is what given in your textbook, it has got more numbering than 39 to 84. Why? Because here it is showing the India and adjacent countries. You see here IAC, India and adjacent country, India and its neighboring countries together, the numbering is given. So that is why more numbers here. But if you focus on only India and its landmass, you will be getting only 39 to 84 topo sheets. So these topo sheets are made of 4 degree. You know that we discussed in the last class. Okay, so this 4 degree of topo sheets are of million scale. Okay, these are of million scale. This is what mentioned in your textbook, million scale. Okay, so number of each topo sheet. This is another topo sheet. This is another topo sheet. Understood? So that means comparatively larger area comes under these each topo sheet. That is why here it is adopted as a million scale. Understood? So again each million scale can be divided into 16. Now you see, for example, this is another million scale. 57 is a million scale. This million scale is divided into 16. You can see A, what is 16? 57A, 57B, 57C, 57D. It goes like this. So here the metric system adopted is that 1 is to 250,000. Okay, 1 is to 250,000. Here this can be also called as a degree scale. Why it is a degree scale is that what is here, the longitude is 1 degree and latitude is also 1 degree. That means vertical line is 1 degree and horizontal line is also 1 degree. But at the same time when you go for here, 4 degrees adopted. Here the 1 degree is adopted. So this scale can be also called as a degree scale. Again this is divided into 16. Okay, again 1 is to 250,000. This is again divided into 16. How it is? Like a 57A. Okay, so you see here 57A, how it is divided into 16? 57A1, 57A2, 57A3, 57A4. It goes like that. Understood? So here the scale is adopted is that 1 is to 50,000. 1 is to 50,000. Again the further division is there. You see 57A1. Okay, this is again divided into 16. This is again divided into 16. That is not shown here, but it is shown in your textbook 1. Let's see that map. Yes, in this it is shown here, isn't it? So you see the first one. Here it is 1 is to 250,000, this one, and next one is 1 is to 50,000, and further division is there. Okay, 50,000, sorry, 45A1. Here you see 45A1, 45A2. Here you see. So this is what? Another division. That is known as what? 1 is to 25,000. Clear? 1 is to 20. So these are the 3 series of map we discussed. Which are the 3 series? 1 is to 250,000. This is a degree scale. And the next one is a 1 is to 50,000. So this is the common scale we adopt everywhere. This is the common topo sheet. Usually we use this scale for every topo sheet. Okay. Then 1 is to 250,000, 25,000. 1 is to 25,000 is very rarely we use. Very rarely use. But commonly we use this particular scale. 1 is to 50,000. I will show you that how it is in most of the topo sheet. You see this topo sheet. Yes, in this full size. Yeah, you see here in this topo sheet which scale is adopted. You can see here which scale is there. You see 1 is to 50,000 scale. So like that every topo sheet you see this is the scale adopted. So this is the common scale adopted. Now let us move to the lesson so you understand this one better. If you read, then now you understand these lines clearly. What is that? The map IAC series extend up to contagious. This you know that. That is of the sheet. These sheets are 4 degree of longitude. Okay. Then what is that? The sheets are numbered from 34 to 84 where in India. Understood? So the IAC extended up to contiguous lands of Afghanistan, Tibet and China. These sheets are 4 degree of longitude in size and cover the entire country. The sheets are numbered from 39 to 84. Now, again, these sheets are known as 1 million sheets. You understood? That also we discussed. The 1 million sheet is further subdivided into 16 equal parts. That is 1 degree latitude and 1 degree longitude. So that its metric is equivalent to 1 is to T50,000. So these sheets are known as degree sheet. That also we discussed why these are known. Because 1 degree longitude and 1 degree latitude extent. Clear? So these sheets are again numbered as what is that? Again subdivided into 45. Suppose you see 45 is subdivided into different components like 45A, 45B, like that. Again that degree sheet is subdivided into what? 15, like how it is 16, the 45D16, 1 to 16. One example is that 45D16. So I think this part is very clear. Again we are moving on to the next page to discuss. Now what is that we have to discuss here is that which are the colors used in the survey map. You see that the colors when we discuss about, you see that hills are shown in brown colors, barren lands are shown in white color, water bodies are shown in blue color, forest regions are in green color. Let's see how these different colors are used with the help of survey map. I will explain you. Here this is the survey map. If you observe very clearly these maps, you find that you see here green color may not be much visible there, but when you observe very clearly, yes, you see this map here, it is very color is very prominent. In this you can see green color. Wherever the green color you see, these are the areas green color. Here also somewhat green color. So wherever the green color is found, that is mentioning the forest region. Okay, green colors indicates the presence of forest region. Then hills, how you understand the hills? From this you see if there are brown colored, okay, that hills I will show you later. Now you see here yellow color. You can find the yellow color here. Yellow colors mainly indicate the cultivable land. You see here yellow color, and somewhat here also yellow color. You see yellow. So yellow color always shows the cultivable land. Okay. Now you can find some red color here. Okay, red colors always shows what? Red color shows the what is settlement. You can see here settlement. These are the buildings or where people stays. Understood? Then water bodies are also shown here. Okay, water bodies are mainly shown with the blue color. Blue color are there used for showing the water bodies. Okay, that I'll show you with the help of another map. So now let us focus on the chapter here in which we have to discuss. So you see, you have to learn that which are the colors used in survey map for showing different features. You see, for hills, which are the color? Brown contours. Then for barren lands, white color. So you see, wherever the barren white colors are there, there you understand that region is not good for agriculture. Okay, the region which is not good for agriculture, there white colors are used. Then water courses are shown in blue color. So wherever the water body, blue color. Forest regions are shown in green color. Cultivated areas are in yellow. So railway, dry streams, etc. are of black color. Then roads, towns, villages are shown in red color. Understood? So some roads and towns also we can find. Then railways. Yes. Railway, you see, if you, yeah, railway is in this. You can see railway from this map. You see, if you observe clearly, railway line is there. Okay, this is the, then roads, you see, red color. This is a road. Okay, then number of thin red colors are there. You see here and all. So these are all indicating the presence of road from the survey map. Then you can see here, blue color is not that visible. But even then, I can show you here in the middle of this map. If you observe clearly, blue color can see. Yes, in the middle you see blue color lines are there. Okay, but that is not so visible. Then there are some, these dots, you know, number of dots. These are all in blue color. So these blue color indicates perennial wealth. So last class also we went through all this. Okay. So I hope this portion is very clear. Then moving on to the next. So you have to write down these things. I already sent it in the study material, this part, and you have to learn for the examination, this part. And the next we discuss representation of relief features on topographical map. Now how we will represent both the man-made and natural features on the topographical map? You know that topographical maps are very accurate map. Reading the topographical map, we can understand the height of a place, we can understand the distance of a place, many things. So how we can make that survey map? It's a very difficult task, no, to make a survey map. So in order to make it accurate, which are the techniques used in survey map? Okay, that is what we are going. So there are both man-made and natural features are shown in survey map. So how we make accurate features, which are the techniques are adopted by the cartographers to make the show the different relief features on the topographical map. So what is that? Relief is a very important element that plays active role in human activities. Like relief means what? Plains, plateaus, rivers, etc. All the natural features. Then, so that information is very much essential of this mountains, plains, plateau and all in the survey map. Then only we can understand how these are interacting, affecting the human life. And also you see, for the administrative purpose and also for engineers and all, they want to construct building, dams, irrigation works, etc. So they want to get this knowledge. They cannot go directly and measure the this plateau or mountain or river, their distance, nothing. They can only directly use the map. Now it is a duty of the cartographer to make the accurate map, so that all the engineers and others, whoever use the survey map, they can do their work following the survey map. So that they have to make the accurate map. That is the task of the cartographer here. Then here the question is that what are the technique used by the cartographer to make the topographical map? So mainly you see, passing through the different technique. Now cartography is now in a stage that what is that they use, what is the different mainly they depend upon contour lines. They use features on, mainly they use the contour lines. Contour lines are very important in a survey map. Contour lines are the brown colored lines. Contour lines, you can also see here contour pattern. These are the brown colored line. If you observe here, brown color line. Okay, so these contour lines shows the different pattern. Like they make different pattern. Sometimes they make the pattern like this. Okay, sometimes they make the pattern like this. this kind of pattern, different pattern. So looking at the contour and their pattern, we can make out their height, we can make out their how they are steep or gentle, whether there is a depression or whether there is a mountain or a hill or a plateau. All these we can make out looking at the contour. So contour lines are very important. Now let's see what are contour lines. We discuss, I just gave that in the study material also. In simple term, contour lines are what? These are the line which joins the places having equal height. Okay, now here let's see what is that. Isohips. Isohips means they are contour lines. Isohips are the contour line. The term used for isohip is that for contour lines. Okay, so these are the imaginary lines connected having the same altitude above the sea level. That means suppose a mountain, for any mountain or hill or for any place, how do you suppose a plateau also. Okay, for plateau, how do you calculate the distance, the height of that place? Suppose you see this is the sea level, this is the sea level, sea is here. Okay, now they calculate the height of a place from the sea level. How do they? Suppose you see from here to here mountain, from here to here plateau, from here to here a hill, then from here to here. So accordingly they calculate the height of a place. So always they see mean sea level. Mean sea level means there is a, you see, mean sea level is shown in this, here you see. Suppose you see sometimes there is a fluctuation take place in the sea level, you know, during the low tide. Low tide means the sea level water goes down and so that it comes up to here. Okay, then during the high tide sea level water comes up. So we cannot go on changing the contour accordingly. So they adopt a mean sea level, middle. So they adopt a medium. So you have learned maybe medium, mean and all. Okay, so they adopt a mean sea level. So this is fixed always. So always whenever we measure the distance of any place, they measure it from the mean sea level. From this particular point only, any place can, their height can be, suppose any place, let it be place A or this is a place D, or if it is place E, their height is measured from the mean sea level. Not only the place, any mountain feature like hills, plateau, their height is measured from the mean sea level. So how this measured? With the help of contour line, with the help of brown colored line which are shown in the survey map. Okay, now let's read this part. Yes, so these are the imaginary length that are having same altitude above the chosen reference level. That is, which is the chosen reference level? Mean sea level. That is the chosen reference level from the earth. Okay, so this reference level is called datum. Mean sea level of the is called datum. So you see datum already we discussed. You see here, this is the mean sea level. Okay, so if this is the mean sea level, you see this is the datum. So we consider this as the mean sea level. So this mean, so always we measure the distance of a place, height of a place, not distance, height of a place from. So this can be called datum. What is that? Mean sea level. Datum means mean sea level. So understood what it is. So the reference point which is adopted to measure the altitude of a place can be considered as the datum. So reference point is that mean sea level, MSL. And the next is that depth contour bathymetric. Depth contour means, you know, what is depth contour is that, suppose you see this is the ocean. Okay, imagine this is the ocean, water level, sea water. Okay, now suppose this is the bottom of the sea, bottom. For example, okay, how will you measure the depth of a ocean? You see from the plane. Suppose this is the plane, bottom plane. Okay, sorry, the depth of the ocean. So there are some contour lines which are used from here to here to measure the depth of the ocean. Understood? So that is what depth contour. To understand the depth of the ocean, we use the depth contour. So it is clear, and let us continue discussing. So this type of contour is isobath is an depth contour or bathymetric or isobath. So this kind of depth contour is also named as isobath. What is isobath? It connects the points on the sea which have the same vertical distance beneath the water surface. You see here, depth contour. Once again we read this. This type of contour is isobath is an imaginary line that connects the points on the sea bottom which have the same vertical distance beneath the water surface. Okay, so depth contour or bathymetric or isobath, mainly isobath. The common term is used is that isobath. So isobaths are the place which joins us having the same vertical distance beneath the water surface. Okay, and the next is that we have to discuss is this part. Contour lines are the result of the following. So contour lines are result of the following. Simply one cartographer cannot draw any contour lines, isn't it? Suppose you are making the survey map, simply you cannot make a pattern like this, no? You have to directly, first of all you have to make a direct study. You have to go to that place and you have to measure the real height of the mountain or hill. You have to also, from all the three-dimensional, you have to make a appropriate 3 dimension of this mountain or plain, or it's a very difficult task. Okay, so they have to adopt different techniques in order to make a contour lines on the survey map. So let's see, read that, which are that technique. So that means what? Direct surveying of the terrain. One technique is that they go there and they directly measure how high it is, the altitude of the mountain or hill or plateau, whatever the relief feature is that. So direct surveying they do. Directly they study the measurement. Next is the interpolation from accurately determining the spot height. Spot height means, in the survey map, there are like this, like this black spot height. You can find the spot height, and numbering is also given. Suppose 562, suppose 347. This is, spot heights are the height of a place from the sea level. Spot heights indicate, suppose this is the sea level. Suppose this is the sea level here. So they see that how height the particular place is located. Suppose this much height. Okay, spot height. So they measure it. They measure, suppose here is a spot height. They measure that how much altitude, how much high it is located. So accordingly the numbering is given 562. Okay, so they study also the spot height. That means the height of a place like. Okay, so what is that? Interpolation from accurately determining the spot height. Then interpolation between surveyed contour with or without the help of spot height. Then interpolation means what? They make it study from all the spheres, all the viewpoints, and then confirm it that even with the spot height and also without the first spot height, they make it, they confirm it that their surveying is correct, their measurement is gone correct. That is what here mentioning in this. And the next one we have to discuss is the next page. Sorry, and yeah, this is the next page. Now, which are the few more points to be discussed here is that you see that programming photogrammetric plotting. What is photogrammetric plotting? You see, even they make the photograph, they also depend upon the photograph. Like means not ordinary photograph. There may be some scientific method of taking photographs of that particular relief features. Then they also study that. And they may confirm that their study has not gone wrong, their surveying is not gone. That is a photogrammetric plotting. Then next is the elaboration or drop line chart of ortho photography. So again they more elaboration, whatever the study they have made, then they elaborate the size and photograph and whatever is it, they study elaborately about that particular feature. And drop line chart is also there. Different kind of charts are also used in order to make their study accurate. And orthophotography, this is maybe another type of photography, adopting some scientific method of taking photography of that. So adopting, so they depend upon all these technique to make a contour line on this topographical map. So we discussed about the contour line, and we understood that how the cartographer is drawing contour lines on the survey map adopting different techniques. Clear? Okay, now continue moving on to the next topic is that datum. Datum is already we discussed what is that mean sea level. Now with the head of diagram also you can understand easily what is datum. Here you see that the sea level is used as a datum plane. Okay, sea level. So you see here, so this is what datum. Okay, you understood mean sea level. This is the mean sea level. That is what mean sea level is calculated between the level of the water of low tide and high tide. Clear? And now we moving on to the contour interval and contour distance. Now what is contour interval? Contour interval is actually vertical distance between two contours can be called as contour interval. You see this, if you draw like this, you see here like this, this is the contour interval. Contour interval. Otherwise you see vertical distance. Understood? So vertical distance CI, it is indicated like CI, contour interval. So vertical distance between two contours are considered as contour interval. Okay. It is important to use contour interval in a map. What are the importance? Why contour interval is important, and also how it is depending upon. How do we or not we cartographers, we cannot do anything with this map. We can only do the map reading after the cartographer making this map. So how the cartographer, which are the method they are using means for making their contour interval. Okay, for determining the contour interval. Like you see, first of all they depend upon, they see that what is the scale of the map. Okay, what is the scale of the map? Whether it is 1:50,000, whether it is 1:250,000. That means otherwise it is a million scale. So three different series of scale we discuss. So they see that first the scale, what is the scale of the map. Then they also next they see that what is the purpose of map. Whether it is for the students to study, we are studying the survey map in class 10. Whether it is for the engineers to construct the building, whether it is for the defense, for different purpose they use the different survey map. Then they understand, so accordingly they will determine the contour interval. That is what vertical distance between the contour line. Then available information, then what are the information available about that particular place, and the surveying is done, all those information, photograph, everything. Then type of area, what type of area it is. Then limitation of the graphical representation. Limitation means even though we continue accurate study, there can be some limitation also. Then they also go through the limitation. Accordingly, after all collecting all the information, they determine the contour interval. That means vertical distance between the contour lines. So understood? I hope that these points are clear to you. Yes. Then next we have to discuss about auxiliary contour lines and what is that? Yes, two type of contour lines we have to discuss. Let us see that in the next page. Which are the two type of contour lines here we have to discuss is the auxiliary and index contour. Okay, auxiliary and index contours we have to discuss. Now what is auxiliary contour? You can see here in the map. If you observe clearly the map, you can understand what is auxiliary contour. Okay, let's see that. You see here auxiliary contour, see where it is. So the contours which are drawn in between, the contours which are inserted in between the contours. You see, these are drawn in broken line. Okay, these are the contours which are inserted between the contour line. Special contours which are inserted, they are shown in the broken contour. So this will help a person to make the map reading easier. If you want to, if that person is studying a relief feature, this contour will help him. Okay, so that is what auxiliary contours. Okay, let us move on to the page to read that part. Yes, what is auxiliary contour? Auxiliary contour is that if the standard contour interval is too far apart in some part of the map. Yes, if they are far apart, you can see here this contour lines are far apart, and here also these lines are far apart. In case they insert some contours in between, okay, they insert some contours in between like this. Okay, they are called auxiliary contours. Okay, now let's continue. So such as plateaus, valley, bottom, it is possible to insert contour lines in between the standard lines. Okay, so these inserted contour lines are called auxiliary contour lines. Okay, so this we understood what is auxiliary contour line. Now let us move on to the index contour line. What is index contour line? You see this from the map itself we can make out index contour line. You see 300 is mentioned here. You see after every 100 contour they do the numbering. Suppose 300, otherwise they 200. So after 200 there is a 100 contour is over, then 300. So looking at this we get an idea about the height of a place, etc. How it is, you see here. Example I'll show you. Here you see important numberings are given like this. You see, yes, 400 here, then 375, 350, 325. So important contours, these are given numbering and also they are made it bold. Okay, so these contour lines are made it bold and numbering is also given, so that such kind of contours are called index contours. So that you see, otherwise you see here, so here you can understand that here height is going on decreasing. 400 is the peak maybe, then 375, 350, that means height is decreasing of a particular place. Now you see here difference you can make out. Here you see height is decreasing towards the middle. When here the height is decreasing towards the middle, here is 375, then sometimes here it can be 400, then here it can be 450, it goes like this. Okay, so these contours are, so in between there are number of contours are there. Okay, all these contours will be drawn, but they will make this index contours more bold. Okay, they will draw it as like bold. Okay, they understood, like this they will draw. So these are, so the contours which are drawn very bold, and also numbering is given, special numbering like 400, 450, 300, 350, sometimes 375. So like that is given, is called index contour. Now you can see here after 350, here you see the height of the contour is decreasing. So here you can understand, here this can be a depression. As much the height is decreasing, you see the lower area comes. Okay, so this is a depression. Understood? That is what. Yes. Then we discuss. So we discuss about index contour, and let's read this part. Index contour. What is that? Yes. To further facilitate the reading of the contour lines, some lines can be drawn thicker than the others. Understood that? That are called. So it depends on the contour interval which lines are required to be drawn thicker. So that depends upon that, whether it is to be drawn thicker or not. That depends. So you see examples are given like 100, 250, 1000. It depends upon the necessity. So accordingly they make that contour thicker, they draw thicker. So these thicker contour lines are called index contours. So understood? It's very clearly. Okay, then accuracy of contour lines we have to discuss. Yes, there are many things depends about the accuracy of contour lines are depending, that also I think, yes, which are the accuracy of the contour lines are mainly depending upon, yes, points are given. Survey accuracy, yes, the cartographers or scientists, they, whether they measure it correct or not, going to that place, looking at the mountain, using different technique, whether they are able to, and also they adopt different technique, photography and all, whether they are able to do it properly or not. And survey map accuracy, contour lines accuracy is depend upon the accuracy of the survey. Then accuracy that can be reached in the cartography, drawing and reproduction. After the surveying of the places, they have to make a survey map, topographical map. So not only depending upon the accuracy, they may do the accurate survey, then the same surveyed things, they have to show properly in the topographical map. So that also depends upon the cartographer, how well the person is able to draw a topographical map. So the accuracy is depend upon the cartographic drawing and also reproduction. Reproduction means one map is made, then number of copies are to be taken of the same map. So then reproduction, now otherwise looking at the same map, another map is to be drawn. So at the time of drawing and reproduction of the map, the accuracy is to be maintained, so that if there is accuracy in these two levels, we can also maintain accuracy in the contour lines. So if the contour line accuracy is maintained, we can say that map reading is also can be done accurately. This is what all about. So children, then we next discuss the